Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm going to start with a quote here. Pretty good is closer to terrible than it is to great. That is what I'm going to be talking about today. And I want to start with that, right? Pretty good isn't the middle. You're stuck. You're actually stuck. And what I've realized is that it's very easy to justify being pretty good or being mediocre or being in the middle because you're not terrible. But at the end of the day, you're just as close to terrible and way further away from great than you think. And most people have it backwards in their head. They think they're closer to great when they're in the middle, but you're actually closer to pretty bad, right? And it's a massive change because for me, you can really feel like you're progressing because you're not a failure, but you're really not progressing. You're really not getting better. You're really not pushing yourself to get to the next level. And then when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about fitness and I'm thinking about making money as well. They both correlate to the same type of mindset where, it's not that bad. When you achieve a next level, I think you realize, man, I was actually so much further than I thought I was from being that great version of myself. And then obviously it's never ending. You continue to climb. But I do feel at times I've been caught up getting stuck in mediocre or, I'm pretty good. I'm better than most people, yada, yada, yada. It's all just jargon to make yourself feel better for being stuck at mediocre for years and years and years. And that's where a lot of people will stay. And this, you know, I want you to really think about it, right? It kills your hunger. When I talk to guys on sales calls that need to lose, let's just go 50 plus pounds. They're hungry. They want to change. They're willing to do whatever it takes. They're in a terrible spot. Same thing financially. If you talk to somebody who's completely broke, they're hungry. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get out of this situation, right? They're at rock bottom. The decision to change is easy because pain has made it super easy for you. Whereas if you shift into this middle ground, let's just call it the middle where you're not succeeding wildly, but you're not broke. Or for fitness terms, let's just say you're in the have to lose 10 pounds. Let's just say around the 10-pound range where you're not at rock bottom, but you're obviously not excelling. You're not super excited. You're still not excited to take your shirt off at the pool. You're not confident that way, but you're not at rock bottom. The comfort of that will keep you stuck and lull you to sleep for years and years and years. Whereas the guy that has to lose 50 plus pounds is going to change immediately. So they'll probably surpass you because you're stuck in the middle. You're stuck in mediocrity. You're stuck in the worst place to be. And it's a dangerous place to lie to yourself about constantly. It's not that bad. I just got to be grateful. And you start to believe it. You start to not look for ways to change and improve. And it's a really, really scary place. So let me break it down with a story. Now, this was my fitness story, right? And so this is why I know so much about it, because I was at the mediocre place for some time, right? And it's like you carry extra weight, but you look okay in clothes. And so you get some good validation from other people, but you yourself know, looking in the mirror, you're not excited about how you look. You're not excelling. You're not, fully pumped about, how you look, how you feel. You're not six pack shredded. You've never actually excelled with your fitness. And it just keeps you stuck. Getting to the other side, once I got to the other side, let's say I was stuck here in the 10, 15 pound range for some time. Once you realize first of all, the gap from good to great is far bigger than the gap from bad to good. Bad to good is a small gap. I'll keep it 100 with you guys. Good to great, it's a huge gap. That's why nobody typically goes there. You have to put in a lot more work, a lot more energy, and more mental capacity. You have to decide that this mediocre self, you're not willing to stay at average for another second, another day. It's that big of an issue to you. It's that much of a problem that you're willing to be humble and learn and learn from guys who have done what you want to do. And when you climb to that place, you realize how much you were actually leaving on the table. And that's why you know about this gap. Because when you've been there, you're like, dang, there was so much I was leaving on the table, so much more I could feel, and confidence and aura and presence. And you just want everybody to feel that. You just want everyone to have that confidence in themselves. And it with fitness, it's not the body or the result that you're going after. It's the confidence in yourself that you keep your word and that you're 100% congruent with who you want to be, and you're in control. The result, the body, it comes with it. Boom, you'll have it. But that's where I was for a while. And that's what I would, you know, tell people. And I tell myself this all the time, that just being average or just being good is not what you truly want. You want to excel. You want to push it to the next level, right? And when I think about it, when it comes to money, and the thing that I hear a lot from Grant Cardone, this is maybe something I picked up from him, the middle class is the worst place to be. And he says that, and everyone kind of gives him flack for it, but I get what he's saying. The broke people have a burning desire to change, and they move because they don't have a choice, right? The middle class, you can get stuck because you do have a choice. You have a choice to stay where you're at, or you have a choice to push yourself to the next level. And just enough is the comfort where you stop growing, you stop doing what you did that got you out of broke. You stop doing those things. Same thing with fitness. You stop doing what you did to lose the 10, 15 pounds, and to get to that next level, you stop doing all the things and you don't add the next version. What you do to get to here is not what you have to do to get to there. My wife and I were actually talking about this the other day. We have our second child, and we're sitting there talking, and she's like, it's amazing because you don't realize that you have to let go of the old version of yourself to become the parent that's going to excel with 2 kids. It's completely different. You have to kill the old version of yourself to step into this new version. So it happens in every area. And I thought that was a super cool analogy that my wife brought up, Sydney. She was talking about how she feels like this new calling to step into this new version, and she has to let go of the old. And it's so true. But just enough is always that comfort. The gap between middle class and real wealth is light years apart in how you feel and how you show up and how you operate and how you talk and how you are. But you have to imagine yourself being that person and wanting to be that person. I feel like sometimes we can lull ourselves to sleep saying we don't want it. We don't desire it. It's not that big of a deal. The middle class is great. We just got to be grateful. Whatever the case may be, it's just an excuse. When I look in the mirror, I realize that it was just an excuse. And when you have that wake up call with yourself in both these areas, it humbles you, but it calls you to this new version. And don't let social validation, from other people lull you to sleep. You really don't know what you're missing until you get there. You don't know really and that's for myself included. I don't know what I'm missing until you truly step into that 2.0 version. And that's the truth I feel like nobody really talks about. The difference from good to great is a massive gap, and nobody wants to admit that. Bad to good, there's a gap. Good to great, there's an even bigger gap. And it's not a step, it's a completely different life, identity, and energy that we have to step into. And on the other side of comfort is that enemy, not failure. It's just not trying, it's not desiring, it's not wanting it. And I feel like deep down, that you're not quite living to that place. So think, after this podcast, something came to your mind. What area of your life are you at pretty good and you're not okay accepting it any longer? You can feel the gap inside. And that's the question I want to leave you with. What am I protecting that I'm giving up because I'm not pushing myself? It's really just an honesty check. And I'll leave you guys with this. Good is the enemy to great. But man, if you knew how good great was, it wouldn't even be a question. You'd give up good immediately.